Hello everyone, the following story is called Rumors, written by Thomas & Friends Productions, T&P Videos and More, Wooden Railway Remakes and Reviews, and Liazid Santiago. The links to their channels will be in the description. Thank you! Thomas the Tank Engine is the #1 engine on the Farquhar branch line. Thomas loves the line very much. He loves his coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. He enjoys taking his passengers on train rides, and Thomas loves to race Bertie. And most of all, Thomas enjoys the company of his friends, Toby and Percy. One night, Thomas arrived at Farquhar Sheds. Toby was asleep, but Percy was wide awake.
"You don't look too good, Percy. Whatever's the matter?"
"When I was taking the mail train, I overheard the controller say that he was closing the Farquhar branch line."
"Rubbish!" exclaimed Thomas.
"Oh, but it isn't. He said not as many passengers have come since the early days of the branch line."
"You're right, Percy. I have seen a dip in passengers, but he wouldn't close down the line run by his #1 engine."
"Oh, I wouldn't be too sure, Thomas."
"Cool your wheels and let an engine sleep." But really, Thomas was worried. He wondered about other reasons the line would close. Maybe the passengers didn't like the bumpy rides when Thomas and Percy raced. Maybe it was because Thomas whistled too loud. Or maybe Percy was lying. But why would he? Thoughts raced around Thomas's smoke box until he uncomfortably went to sleep. The next morning, Thomas woke up early. He went to the yards and shunted a goods train for Percy. Then he went to fetch Annie and Clarabelle and arrived at the station. "Maybe if I work extra hard, the fat controller won't close down the line," Thomas thought to himself. Soon the guard blew his whistle, and Thomas set off. He passed smoothly along the line. He saw a Bertie bus. "Want a race, Thomas?"
"I can't today, Bertie."
"Are you sure?"
"Yes, I must have a smooth ride."
Why is Thomas acting so strange? Oh dear. Thomas arrived at the station where Toby was waiting with Henrietta. "Good morning, Thomas."
"I can't chat today, Toby. I must stay on schedule."
Strange. Oh, don't bother, Toby. Soon Thomas arrived at the end of the line. The fat controller was there. He was speaking to the manager. "It will have to be closed down." Thomas needed to hear no more. He shunted Annie and Clarabelle back into the yards and quickly raced to his sheds. "It's true." "What's true, Thomas?"
"The fat controller is closing down the line."
"I knew it." "Are you sure?"
"Positive. Tomorrow I'm going to work extra hard."
"Same here. Might as well."
The next morning, Percy took a look at his goods train.
At once, no matter how hard, Toby attached his train to Henrietta, and Thomas pulled Annie and Clarabelle in record time. Percy asked Thomas to shunt the next train, and Thomas did so. He was still worried about the line closing down. He shunted and shunted until he had a long train. He didn't realize that the points were switched to his siding, and he moved forward, and the train crashed through the buffers, and the trucks were derailed, dazed and surprised.
"I must get the breakdown train right away."
But the fat controller wouldn't witness the entire calamity.
"Thomas the Tank Engine, what were you thinking?" Percy told me you had to close down the line, and I overheard you at the station, and Percy, Toby, and I are trying to work extra hard so the Farquhar branch line doesn't get closed down. Please don't close it down, sir."
"Oh dear, Thomas. I wasn't going to close down the line. Percy must have heard me wrong. I was going to close down the Farquhar branch line temporarily so that we could clean and polish up the stations and make them look nice again." Thomas felt overjoyed, but at the same time cross at Percy. "So the line isn't getting closed down?"
No, the Farquhar branch line is a pride of my railway and one of the most popular attractions on the island. I feel like giving the Fat Controller a stern word tonight. Now fetch the breakdown train and clear this mess up immediately. Thomas learned his lesson about listening to rumors. That night, Percy came back from pulling the mail train. Annie and Clarabelle were in his spot. Thomas! Oh dear, Percy, I guess you're going to have to sleep in the yards tonight. Toby laughed, and Percy reluctantly puffed away. The